Sorry for that.
No, that's not problem. You have accepted our invitation and joined here. It's so much for us. It's no problem
Thank
of.
you so much.
It's no
For
problem
your
of.
cordial invitation.
Yes. It's no problem of responding to the message. It's immaterial one. You have accepted. We were very free because you. We confident about that. You have joined.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
Thank you. Can we start, sir? Yes, sir. We can start now. Sir,
Yes, start, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shall,
Yes.
shall we start?
Yes,
Or
madam.
you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Then.
So, myself is Hari Krishnanta Ramrao,
Yeah.
working as a FTT
Huh.
in Kumarswami Mahavidyalay Ausa.
Okay.
First of all, I welcome to all of you on this virtual platform. Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa, on behalf of the college, we are arranging the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We are celebrating this festival on the way of virtual platform. Every weeks we are arranging different programs, and the chief organizer of this webinar series, Honorable Principal Sir, who is an ideal principal of the college. Now, today also we invited Honorable Speaker Geeta Arnur Madam, and I welcome to you, sir and ma'am, and all others committee members, Honorable Coordinator K.N. Kadam sir, and Honorable Austria sir, Honorable Gogre sir, Honorable Patwari sir, Honorable Karanje sir, who is the junior supervisor. All these personalities I heartily welcome here on this platform. And ICRA coordinator, Honorable Kale sir, all these peoples and all those who are present over here for the series, I heartily welcome to all of you. And today we are going to celebrate here on the way of this webinar on the topic Hyderabad राज्यातील स्वातंत्र्य चळवळ. Now this topic is presenting in front of us. We invited Honorable Speaker Dr. Harnur Madam. She is present over here to deliver the nice speaks in front of this all the people over here, all the teachers over here. So I request first of all to Honorable Dole Ma'am, please introduce today's speakers. Honorable Dole Ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, all of you. On behalf of organizing committee and Shri Kumarswami College, I welcome to all of you to this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav series. Firstly, I am very thankful to all the respected organizing committee members and respected principal, Dr. Bedkar MM, who has given the opportunity to introduce a resource person on this virtual platform. And many big thanks to all the participants, those are joining this series and making this series very successful series. So I am very happy to introduce today's resource person, Honorable Geeta Harnur Ma'am. She is Associate Professor in History Department, Babu Jagjeevan Ram Government Degree College, Hyderabad. Her topic of presentation is Freedom Struggle in Hyderabad State. Her qualification is MA in History from Hyderabad Central University. Honorable Geeta Ma'am have been in the profession since 1998, worked as controller in Autonomous College. She chaired as head of the department since 2012 and organized number of guest lectures and workshops. She has published a number of research papers on national and international level. She worked in RBRR Women College since 1998 to 2018, and she worked in Government City College also in the year 2018 to 2020. Presently, she is working in BJR, that is Babu Jagjivan Ram Government Degree College. So today is a very great personality with us, with lot of experiences and great thoughts, and she will enlighten the topic freedom struggle in Hyderabad state. So after this introduction, I would like to request today's great personality, Honorable Geeta ma'am. Please start your speech. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all for the
Thanks a lot, madam.
nice introductions, madam. But I don't deserve so much of appreciation or praise. I thank all the committee members for this invitation as a part of this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. It is a pleasure for me to at least give a little talk on the freedom movement in Hyderabad state. I feel that that Nizam's state consisted of the three regions: Marathwada region, Hyderabad Karnataka region, and the Telangana region. The condition of the people here in Hyderabad state was quite different. They had to not only fight for freedom against the British, but they also had to fight against the Nizam's government also, who was an ally of the British government. And one more thing we have to remember is that the conditions in Hyderabad were far it was worse than the conditions in British India. Still in the 19th century also there was a feudal structure and there was no education for the common people except the Diwan of Hyderabad Salar Jung first, Surab Ali Khan, who started modernizing and establishing educational institutions, but that was only from the government part. But the common people did not receive much education and the people were lagging behind. So the reform movement started very late in Hyderabad state. There were four institutions or organizations, you can say, which worked for creating political awareness and social and cultural movement. The first one was the press. Ramchandra Pillai came as a correspondent of The Hindu, and with that, the public opinion, they started creating public awareness and public opinion. The second one is the establishment of libraries, which was a library movement we can call, that is Krishna Devaraya Andhra Bhasha Nilayam and Raja Narendra Bhasha Granthalayam, Golkonda Patrika, Andhra Samavardhani. Several libraries were started. These libraries worked to translate various books on history into the especially Telugu language. Then more than this was the social reform movement was carried on by organization like especially Arya Samaj and mainly Arya Samaj. Of course, to some extent, Theosophical Society also worked for that. But a branch of Arya Samaj was established in 1889 by Nityananda Brahmachari and Vishwananda Saraswati, and they started publishing the copies of Arya Samaj and carried out the Arya Samaj activities like holding Nagar Kirtans and establishing educational institutions and so on. This led to the public opinion as such. The next one was the educational press. Several newspapers in regional languages started, like Golconda Patrika in Telugu, Patrika, Nilagiri Patrika in Telugu. Nizam Vijay was started in Marathi. Pandit Taranath started Prema and Namashakti in Kannada language. Then the next role which played in creating political awareness was educational institutions. Though the Salarjan established educational institutions, they were meant for mostly the noble people, and to spread education among the common people, especially to impart education in vernacular languages. Several people worked on that. Especially we have Keshav Rao Koratkar, V. Ramchandra Nayak, and Ganpat Rao Hardikar, who established in 1906 Vivek Vardhani Educational Society and established Vivek Vardhani Pathshala. Vithal Rao Devgakar, Gundu Rao, they established Nutan Vidyalay in Gulbarga and Hamdard the school in Raichur to impart education in Kannada languages. In Hyderabad, Karnataka Shikshana Samiti established Nrupatanga school. Then for the Telugu people, Andhra Balika Pathshala was established by members of Andhra Jana Sangha, and though Osmania University was established in 1919, the university did not permit or allow the students to write exams in their vernacular languages because they made Urdu as the medium of instruction. It is at this juncture I take pride that the Kotwal of Hyderabad, Raja Bahadur Venkat Rama Reddy, who negotiated with the Karve Institute in Pune and got permission for girl students to appear for exams through Telugu language. Now, this is how the social reform movement started, which helped in creating political awareness among the people. And the Nizam did not allow the people to join in Indian National Congress. So the freedom movement in Hyderabad state started little later. When Vande Mataram movement started, the leaders in Hyderabad state, especially Agurnath Chattopadhyaya, who was the principal of the father of Sarojini Naidu, who was a principal of Nizam College, which was established, he met the Arya Samaj leaders like Keshav Rao Koratkar, Pandit Damodar Satwalekar, Vaman Nayak and Appaji Tuljapurkar, and they propagated the Swadeshi movement, and they also began to spread the Arya Samaj ideas and activities. Seeing this, the Nizam government imposed restrictions on them, and accepting Keshav Rao Koratkar and Vaman Nayak, the other leaders, they left Hyderabad state and the movement came to an end. The real movement started with the Khilafat movement in Hyderabad, where when Khilafat movement started, the people in Hyderabad celebrated Yaume Khilafat, that is Khilafat Day, throughout the Hyderabad state, and especially in Gulbarga, Raichur, Aurangabad and Medak, the people celebrated the Khilafat Day. And when Maulana Shaukat Ali visited Hyderabad, people donated 12,000 rupees for Khilafat agitation for to continue the movement. Seeing these activities, the Nizam issued a farman where holding of political meetings were prohibited, and entry of political leaders from British India was also prohibited, restricted. And newspapers like Kesari, Hitavad and Swaraja were also banned. So it is the Khilafat movement could not continue much because of that. The real movement in Hyderabad state started with what is called as 1938 Vande Mataram movement. It is actually Vande Mataram incident. The reason cause for this is that the Arya Samaj was carrying out its activities like holding Nagar Kirtans, performing havans and training people through akhadas. And the Nizam government imposed restrictions on these activities, and the woman, a person by name Ramchandra Delvi, he was along with Ved Prakash was spreading the Arya Samaj activities, and this person Ved Prakash, when he protested against the police and the local people there, he was murdered at Gujjoti. Now this murdering of this Ved Prakash led to riots, outbreak of riots. And in next year, in 1938, by this time, in Hyderabad, a movement had started which is called as Deen Dar movement. This Deen Dar movement indirectly was a movement to convert the people to Islam. And when the Arya Samaj members and the members of Deen Dar movement came into clashes, which led to outbreak of riots, communal riots. It is this which led to the Vande Mataram movement, and the Arya Samaj leader Dharma Prakash was murdered into this. Likewise, when the Ganesh Utsav committees were being held in Humnabad, there also the riots took place, and members of Arya Samaj were killed. So to protest against this, Arya Pratinidhi Sabha appealed to the government to hold a judicial inquiry into these riots. But the government did not consider their demands. So they decided to offer satyagraha, individual satyagraha. This movement was led by Andhra Jana Sangha, which was established in 1926 by Alampalli Somashekhara Sharma. Under this movement, this organization, Andhra Jana Sangha, not only carried out the educational reform movements in Hyderabad state, but it also led the political movement in 1938. The movement, Sarojini Naidu, who was the great freedom national leader, freedom fighter, visited the Usmania University in 1938 and gave an igniting speech to the students. Her speech culminated into a mighty liberation movement, a struggle. And it is during this period only, under the leadership of Swami Ramananda Tirtha and Vande Mataram Ramachandra Rao, they fought this movement, and in the same year, a Vande Mataram incident took place where the students refused to wear the uniform like pajama and sherwani and Rumi topi. Instead, they took to wearing khadi dress and Gandhi caps and began to sing Vande Mataram song in the B hostel of Usmania University. When they started singing the song, the authorities closed the door. So the students began to do picketing, offer picketing, and they went on strike. Some of the leaders who participated in this Vande Mataram incident were our ex-Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, T. Haigrevachari, and other who were the students at that time. University authorities, I'm sorry for the disturbance. The university authorities closed the doors of the hostel and the mess, and they were also rusticated from the university. These leaders later on joined Nagpur University and continued their studies there. The Praja Mandals and Hindu Mahasabha also participated in this Satyagraha. Seeing that the movement was not so successful, under the leadership of Swami Ramananda Tirtha, who felt the need to establish a political organization with 1,200 members, established a new organization, that is Hyderabad State Congress. And as soon as the Hyderabad State Congress was formed, the Nizam government issued orders to ban this organization on condition that the word Congress should be dropped out and the Congress should not have any affiliations with other political organizations outside Hyderabad state. Thus, as soon as the Hyderabad State Congress was formed, in the same year it was declared as unlawful association. As the movement was continuing, the Congress leaders M. Narasimha Rao held talks, what is called as unity talks, with MIM leader Bahadur Yar Jang and Nawab Aliawar Jang, who was the secretary for constitutional affairs. These leaders appealed to lift the ban, and the government imposed again the restricting condition that the word Congress should be dropped from the name of the organization. As this was not acceptable to the leaders, they continued offering the satyagrahas, and many important leaders like Vande Mataram Ramachandra Rao and Keshav Rao Koratkar, all these people were arrested. As a part of this movement, Satyagraha was offered at the Sultan Bazar, which was the center of the activities in those days, Kachiguda railway station and Pattargatti in the Hyderabad city. As the movement was continuing on Swami Ramananda Tirtha met Mahatma Gandhi to seek his advice for continuing the movement. But as Mahatma Gandhi advised Ramananda Tirtha to suspend the movement was called off. And in 1940, the Swami Ramananda Tirtha offered individual satyagrahas. The next movement was the Crips mission. The Hyderabad state, people of Hyderabad state would not participate in the salt satyagraha. So the next movement was 1942 Quit India movement. When the Crips mission visited India and made proposal of giving dominion status. Sorry?
You can go
Along
ahead,
with
madam.
giving-
I have muted
Sorry?
them. Okay, you can go ahead.
Sorry?
It was by mistake
Sorry?
someone unmuted.
Sorry?
You go continue, please, madam.
Okay. Now I heard they got a disturbance, so what somebody was saying something.
No.
Fine. Okay. So the CRIPS proposal gave option to the states, princely states, to either remain independent or join with any Indian Union. The Nizam was planning to remain independent. As the Congress leaders, Hyderabad state Congress leaders came to know about this, they decided to fight against the Nizam's proposal, and the Hyderabad State Congress and Praja Mandals not only participated in the Quit India movement, but they also demanded the Nizam government, who had arrested all the leaders as soon as the movement started, they demanded that granting of civil liberties should be granted to the people, to introduce responsible government, that is to hold elections, and to release all the political prisoners. And in this plead, a person from Karnataka, that is Dr. G.S. Melkote, played a very key role in making appeal to the Nizam government. As this was going on, the Hyderabad State Congress was carrying on the movement. Andhra Jana Sangha, which I had mentioned earlier, was established, had turned into Andhra Mahasabha. And this Andhra Mahasabha, around 1942, came under the leadership of communist leaders like Ravi Narayana Reddy, Makhdul Moinuddin, Raj Bahadur Gaud and others, and they decided to go underground and offer the resistance to Nizam's government, and some of them openly began to resist with arms. In this movement, the farmers, peasants in large number participated and resisted against the Nizam's authorities, which is called as Telangana Armed Struggle, which was fought from 1942 to 1948. It ended with the police action as such. Even when this was going on, communal riots also broke out, and Nizam curbed the riots and imposed a section 144. One of the famous leaders in the armed Telangana struggle was Chakali Ailamma, a lady called by name Chakali Ailamma. Chakali stands for washerwoman, dhobi-like. So though she belonged to this community, she single-handedly started opposing the Razakar activities. And this is how in Telangana, the people had to fight two ways, not only against the Nizam's government, but also the local zamindars and feudal lords who were suppressing the peasants. And to fight for this, Puchapalli Sundaya and other leaders, Ravi Narayan Reddy, led this movement, which is called as the Telangana Movement or Armed Struggle Movement. They fought with arms as such. Around this juncture, from 1944 onwards, the Razakars, there was another organization that is called as Ittihadul Majlisi Musliman, which was originally established to carry out the social reform movement among the Muslims under the leadership of Qasim Razvi, who hailed from Latur. Under his leadership, the party began to recruit the volunteers, which were called as Razakars, and the Razakars were given military training like in carrying on fighting with swords or daggers and other things, and they were provided uniforms and other things. And under his leadership, Qasim Rizvi, it began to receive funds from state government also. And the result, the Razakar movement, the Razakars committed several atrocities on the people, forcing them either to convert or to Islam, and those who refused were brutally tortured. As this movement was continuing around this in 1946, when the preparations had started to grant independence, the Nizam who had again expressed his desire to remain independent, opposing the people in Hyderabad state started another movement which is called as the Joint Indian Union Movement, which was fought from 1947 to 1948. The Nizam's government declared to remain independent at this juncture, and
yes, continue, madam.
Qasim Rizvi and the Nawab of Chhatri and Pingali Venkat Rama Reddy from Nizam's Nizam government's representative went to Delhi to hold talks with the British government, and there they had expressed the Nizam's opinion to remain independent. When they came back, the Nizam's, the Razakars' atrocities increased, and when the Hyderabad State Congress offered Satyagraha, who started this Joint Indian Union Movement, several people were arrested and the Razakars' activities continued. Meanwhile, the government of India, by this time in 1947, India became independent, and the Nizam expressed his opinion to remain independent, not to join with the Indian Union, though the people were pressing to join in the Indian Union. And since the Razakars' activities continued, the situation was reported to the Home Minister Sardar Vallabhai Patel, who invited Nizam's government and an agreement was made between the Nizam government and the government of India. This is called as the Standstill Agreement. By the Standstill Agreement, the Nizam had promised not to join with Pakistan and to stop Razakars' atrocities, and to disband that army and to introduce a responsible popular government, that is to hold elections and rule with the elected representatives. But the Nizam, as soon as it was signed, he began to violate all this agreement, and he began to secretly import arms from Pakistan, and also tried to establish an arms factory at Goa with the support of Pakistan, and he also made an appeal to UN Security Council that the Nizam was forcing him to join into the Indian Union. When these matters were brought to the notice of government of India, Sardar Vallabhai Patel gave an ultimatum, and when the Nizam did not respond to this ultimatum, in 1948, 13th September, he sent army to take action against Nizam's government, and this is called as the police action. Meanwhile, I would just like to mention the few atrocities of the Nizam's Razakar atrocities. One was Bibi Nagar incident, where the station master was attacked and his house was looted. Then another we have, that is Suryapet, Karimnagar resistant, where the people of Karimnagar in Garipalli village, they were brutally murdered. Then the Nalgonda people in Bongir village offered armed resistance to the Razakars, and Patarlapad was another village in Suryapet where the people led no tax campaign, and 17 people were killed by the Razakars volunteers. So thus, when the Razakar activities not only increased their atrocities in the Hyderabad state, but they also began to attack the Indian Army soldiers, especially at border areas. It is this activity which may forced Vallabhai Patel to take action and sent the army, which is called as Operation Polo, under the leadership of Major General J.N. Chowdhury, who led the army from Solapur side. Within few days, he was able to enter the Hyderabad city, and the Razakar Nizam's army could not offer resistance against the Indian army. So on 18th September, Nizam, the government, surrendered and agreed to suspend not only Razakar activities but also agreed to join into the Indian Union. This is how the Hyderabad state finally merged into Indian Union. Of course, the merging officially took place a few years later on, but with surrendering of Nizam, the Razakars activities not only came to an end, but the dreams of the people, leaders, their dream was fulfilled of living in an independent India, not only independent India, but also in the state which joined with Indian Union as such. But the movement for the people of Telangana, this movement did not stop here. The leaders from Andhra, when in 1953 a separate Andhra state was formed, they felt that people of Telangana, by their linguistic affiliation, should join with the state, and they started another movement which is called as Vishal Andhra movement, that is Greater Andhra. And since the Nizam state consists of these three regions, the people of Telangana who were joining, who wanted to join with Andhra state, the Telugu people of Andhra state, the several commissions were held. Finally, in 1956, the State Reorganization Commission, which was formed under the leadership of Fazal Ali, Sardar K.M. Panikkar, and Hridaynath Kunjuru, recommended for the liquidation of Nizam state and creation of linguistic state. And in the same year, the agreement was made between the Telangana leaders and Andhra leaders. The Telangana leaders were led by Gurugula Ramakrishna Rao, K.V. Rangareddy and Channa Reddy, and Neelam Sanjeev Reddy, Bezwala Gopala Reddy from Andhra side. And they came to an understanding, which is called as the Gentleman's Agreement. As per this gentle agreement, they had decided that if the Chief Minister was to be from Andhra, Deputy Chief Minister was to be from Telangana, and if the Chief Minister was from Telangana, Deputy Chief Minister would be from Andhra, and create 40% of reservation posts in the government finance should be reserved for the development of Telangana state region, and the Telangana Development Committee also was formed to look into the development of Telangana, because compared to Andhra, Telangana people were again little backward. And finally, with this, when the gentleman's agreement was signed on the 1st of November 1956, Nizam's state was separated. The Telangana region was separated and merged with Andhra, which came to be called as Andhra Pradesh. This is how the freedom movement in Nizam state came to an end. The rest, again the formation of Telangana, and on the same day, Karnataka also was formed by giving this Hyderabad Karnataka region to merge it with Karnataka to form a new state in 1956. But Marathwada region joined with the Bombay Presidency to form Maharashtra in 1960 or 1st May 1960. Thank you for that. It was a very brief narration tracing the major political events in Hyderabad state.
Thanks a lot, madam. Very nice presentation.
Yeah.
You delivered a very nice speech on this platform. You highlighted many points on the movements, freedom movements in Hyderabad states. Highlighted about the Nizam rules in Hyderabad, formation of the Andhra Jan Sabha, Andhra Mahasabha, formation of Hyderabad State Congress, and Telangana struggles, as well as you highlighted upon the role of Arya Samaj, as well as the demands of the Andhra Mahasabhas and suppression by the Nizams. Now all these points you deliver very nicely, so I very very thankful to you on the behalf of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Now I request Honorable Chief Organizer, Honorable Principal Sir, to conclude on this webinar, please. Concluding speech.
Thank you, Prashant.
Welcome to Honorable
Ugade,
Principal
sir.
Sir.
Today's resource person, Dr. Geeta Harnoor Madam from Hyderabad University, Hyderabad Shashkiya Government UG College, Hyderabad. Also, the Professor Karmveer Kadam sir, who is coordinator of this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav committee. Mr. Ravindra Karanje sir, supervisor of junior college. Dr. Dayanand Patwari sir, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Asture sir, Dr. Praveen Kamble sir, Dr. Barond Ghogre sir, and co-convener Shri Prashant Ugade sir. All the participants joined here from out of college. All the participants of our college, including Kale sir, and all the participants. Every Sunday we have a series of this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav lecture series, and it's I think 8th episode of today. Last Sunday we have distributed 7th. So every Sunday we are getting knowledge about our rich Indian culture and also the movements in the freedom. And today was also a special issue regarding the Marathwada Mukti Sangram and Hyderabad related issues. So starting from the library movement, then Arya Samaj movement, and all the struggle that have did by all the freedom fighters, and they devoted for our country This is explained by you very nicely, and also I am thankful for accepting our invitation by you. As a history teacher, you have explained very detailed those points which were unknown to us, because you have more detail studied teacher, so that few moments that we are unknown because we are from Marathwada, and you have studied more Hyderabad, the freedom fighter in that area also. You might be knowing more stories, so that may be included by you and not but us. And also our Swami Raman Tirth was a leader of from Marathwada, who also contributed most as a leader of the Marathwada and Hyderabad Mukti Sangram. So thank you, madam, for a nice and studied lecture in this series by you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I thank you everyone.
Just
for
wait for
giving me this opportunity to.
I'm just wait for the
formal
vote
vote
of
of
thanks.
Thanks
a lot, sir. Now I request Honorable Dr. Ashturi, sir. Please.
Okay, sir.
Vote of thanks. Please, Ashturi, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Very happy morning to all. On behalf of National Webinar Series organized by Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav Committee of Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalay Ausa, today's keynote speaker Dr. Geeta Harnoor Madam from Hyderabad has been presented very nicely the topic freedom movement in Hyderabad state. Her presentation was very good. I congratulate her. I would like to thank her for making an excellent presentation and making this webinar a very meaningful and interesting. I would like to express our deep gratitude to the principal and president of webinar, Dr. M. Bedkar sir, who is one of the splendid and inspiring personality to all of us. He has been recently received an award as an ideal principal by Swami Raman Tirth Marathwada University Nanded, as well as he is well-known speaker and researcher. I express my sincere thanks to Vice Principal Dr. H.D. Vishal sir, IQAC Coordinator Dr. S.S. Kale sir, MCVC Coordinator Shri P.S. Utke sir, Junior College Coordinator Shri R.V. Karanje sir, Coordinator of this committee, Dr. Karmavir Kadam sir, and members, Dr. P.V. Kamble sir, Dr. D.S. Patwari sir, Shri P.R. Ughade sir, and Dr. B.V. Gogre sir. As well as I express my sincere thanks to Dr. Dhole madam and all participants. By the kind permission of principal, I declare that this program is over here. Thank you very much. Hoping your active participation in future. Thank you very much.
Sir, please post the feedback link.
Thanks. Yes,
sir.
I'm sending, sir, please.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Ashturi, sir. Now, all of all, I request you to please fill the feedback link, which is on the chat box, please. I request to all the participants, please fill up the feedback links.
I once again like to thank all the organizers, and I take leave.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, madam. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.